So the RTX 5090, you heard that right. I'm not talking about 4090 or 4090 Ti. 5090, which would be the next generation GPU, may already have some pretty serious problems. Now, NVIDIA is having a blockbuster quarter. Like, everybody's going crazy over NVIDIA. They're no longer just the GPUs for us gamers. They're for the world now. They're probably going to be the most valuable company if they're not today already. So what's going on? The NVIDIA chief financial officer said that the next generation of Blackwell GPUs, and he was talking about the data center stuff, all the AI stuff, he said those GPUs are going to have a huge problem with supply because of the huge demand that's out there. Gamers know this very well because of the cryptocurrency crisis that we had a few years ago, where you couldn't buy a new GPU at MSRP and prices went up. That's going on right now with data center GPUs. And now let's hear a word from our sponsor, VIP-CDKdeals.com, a Windows 10 Pro CD key. Add to cart, you put in code CC20. This will also work on Windows 11. You want to go into your settings in Windows, change and adjust your CD key, click activate, and now let's go back to the video. And if it happens with Blackwell and the next generation of those GPUs, you can bet that somehow it's gonna, go over into the gaming GPU market. Look at the 4090. The 4090 in some places are very difficult to get because people are using it for AI purposes. You don't think that an RTX 5090 with even more performance, and you can bet NVIDIA is gonna stick a lot in there, aside from probably the best memory that they can, they're gonna make sure that it's basically a gaming GPU, but can also be some type of a data center AI GPU, because then they'll know they're going to sell as many of those as they can make, and there's probably a lot more profit margin in the 4090/5090 GPU than you would have on something like a 4060 or 4060 Ti or something like that, where they have to compete with AMD and they just have to be very price conscious. 4090 and 5090 and above, they can charge people, $1,500 to $2,000, and people will pay it. That's what's been the case with the 4090. 4090 is not like the 4080, which basically just sat on store shelves at $1,200+ and nobody bought it. People bought 4090s at the $1,599 MSRP. They bought it at $1,800. They bought it at $2,000. So it's been a GPU that worldwide has been in some pretty heavy demand. So because of this wave that NVIDIA is currently riding, you can bet RTX 5090s and the 5000 series in general, it's gonna have probably a lot of supply problems. If the NVIDIA chief financial officer is already sort of warning about it, it means that it's probably something that they see coming down the pipeline. They're going to be focusing all of their development on data center and AI. Obviously, they're not going to ignore the gaming market. That's still within the NVIDIA DNA, but it's to their benefit where it's much more profitable, where people don't haggle over price. They have basically almost no competition at the moment. That's why their company is so valuable. So they're really going to focus on those GPUs, and even stuff like the 5090, they'll probably release it, but if they're prioritizing data center GPUs, who knows how many we'll actually get. Take a look at the 4080 Super. That's the last high-end GPU released. It's not even anything crazy that can be used with AI like the 4090 or something like that, although it can, obviously, but it's not like the top of the range, and it's already like a little difficult to get. A lot of people could not get their hands on it, and they were going up in price considerably from the $999 MSRP. That means that either NVIDIA didn't have that much inventory to begin with, or the demand was there in enough numbers to really cause this to happen. So the same thing could happen with a 5090 or a 5080. I have no doubt that the performance will likely be pretty good because that's the direction that NVIDIA has been going in with these GPUs, and it probably doesn't matter what the MSRP pricing is, even if they kept the 5090 at $1,599, because as soon as it hits retailers and the store shelves, I think it's going to sell out very quickly because of all this built up demand, especially a GPU like that's going into the Blackwell architecture. It's supposed to have some pretty big jumps in technology. Something like that, not only gamers want it, that's the problem. We have gamers that want the fastest one, right? Not every gamer wants to spend $1,600, but there's enough that do. And then you have content creators and creative professionals like with 3D modeling and, a whole list of things that also want that GPU because it's so powerful. Those people may even have more financial resources to buy that GPU because they're using it for work. And then you're going to have basically where the GPU wasn't really meant to, and then you'll have this third group, which is, increasing in number, where this GPU was supposed to be a GeForce RTX product, never really geared at these professionals, but for data center and AI, just because they can scoop up any possible GPU that can even do AI, maybe in smaller companies or things like that. If they can't get their hands on the big data center GPUs, it makes sense as a second product. So you have these three groups basically fighting for those GPUs. And then obviously that's when maybe the scalpers will jump in and they'll take advantage of the market. So I can see this situation, basically happening again. The same shortage that we had a few years ago, I can completely see it happening again. Before, you would have the gamers, once again, that wanted RTX 3000, for example. Like, who didn't want a 3080 for $699? Pretty good price. Or a 3070 for $499 seemed pretty fair. But as soon as another group jumped in, crypto miners, and obviously you still had content creators that wanted RTX 3000 as well. There were great, advancements in, 3D and video editing, stuff like that. And then you had the crypto miners that were making lots of money with these GPUs when, cryptocurrency was really going up in price in 2021, 2022. So then the same thing happened. They bought up all that supply. Gamers had to pay more if they wanted to, and content creators. And then the scalpers came in, took advantage of the situation. And I remember seeing RTX 3080s that were supposed to be $699 sell for as much as like $2,000. So the price was absolutely astronomical. And even 3090s were like twice the price. They were over $3,000. Some people, I'm sure, paid over $4,000 for a 3090 at some point. That's what happened there. Now, it's a little bit more of a tricky situation because gamers are used to, inventory being out there, even at high prices, at least at MSRP. But with AI coming through, and if NVIDIA even puts some, fairly significant capabilities in these gaming GPUs, like if a 5090 can be used for data center stuff, there's no indication it won't be able to because the 4090 is being used for that, then you can bet that one is going to sell out really quickly. And then basically gamers are going to be left with something like a 5080 as sort of the top GPU that's more attainable. And who knows, if the 5080 is good enough, maybe it's better than a 4090, and that might be people's second choice, even for like AI stuff. And then it may start going down the line, depending how powerful these RTX 5000 GPUs may be. It's very possible that a shortage is going to come. I mean, NVIDIA themselves are already warning of this on sort of the data center sector on the market. And I think this is going to spill over onto the gaming sector. So we could see next generation as being one with even great performance. That's going to be probably something that NVIDIA is going to be able to push. But with prices jumping up and availability problems. So we're going to see that same issue again, even though RTX 4000 has been relatively quiet aside from maybe the 4090. So very interesting to see what's going to happen. Do you guys think the shortage is going to return? Let me know what you think down below. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.